Welcome to Maven Makers. So here at Maven Makers, we've got about 4,600 square feet, and I'll start with you in here on our beginnings of a digital lab. A little bit of disarray, but that's okay. We just got a laser cutter last week, so trying to fine tune getting that set up and trying to figure out where it's going to live long term. But this is where we host a lot of our programming for kids, as well as doing 3D modeling classes and 3D printing and obviously laser cutting. We have computers, laptops. I think we have 8 or 9 laptops that run Autodesk software, and people come in and can use that if they're a member. Also soldering irons on this table here. Try to offer coffee for people to have access to. It's always good to have some caffeine to keep people moving. And back here we have 3D printers. The 3 on the back are ours. This one on the left is one that we are helping someone else get up and running, and just a area for doing digital fabrication of some sort, and also, of course, a vending machine so that people can have things to eat.
Did you guys make the vending machine?
We definitely did not make the vending machine. It would be nice to have a vending machine that could pump out some other things, but this little kitchenette for people, simple, just refrigerators, shelving, nothing crazy.
So I take it the toaster oven there is a reflow oven? Or is that for food?
Definitely not for food. It says do not use for food ever on it. So yeah, someone gave that to us after already doing electronics in it, decided it would probably not be a good idea to eat out of it. Recently made addition, which is an office, which we can go on here in a second, and then beginnings of receptionist desk. As I say that, beginnings of and building of, it shows you that even though we've been here for over 2 years, it's constantly moving, constantly evolving, and I like to say it's kind of like a river that's constantly changing, ever moving, as people come in and out and as they have different projects and working on different things. Over here is one of our studio spaces. This is Katie Skelton. She has manufacturing actually at the Forge, which you've already visited. They do some furniture for her there, and they do small scale manufacturing here, which is lighting. So you can see on the back wall there some lighting that they are doing, prototyping, and then mostly brass work that they come in, polish, assemble, and ship out to their clients and customers. Social area that is constantly being rained on with dust. I used to clean this every day for the first few months and realized it's really not a good idea. But it is something that over time we'll be able to close off completely so that we don't have dust on our digital, computer, 3D printing, that kind of thing, and separate the 2 HVAC systems that are inside of our 4,600 square feet. Again, we're constantly building, constantly moving. Here you see walls starting to go up. This is what was in the past a tool room / storage room, now has become a finish room, and will in time become a proper paint booth with fans, ventilation, and then these walls that are starting to be put together will become another room, which will be a drying and curing room for stuff coming out of that paint booth, so that again that dust doesn't rain on your freshly painted or freshly finished product, whatever that is. Most things that are made in here are woodworking projects, whether it's a cutting board up to a table, up to a kayak. I'll show you in a second. But people are making various things using our not enough clamps, never enough clamps, toolbox full of tools that you hopefully can utilize. Hopefully you won't find anything we don't have and that you need that we don't have. Also, we have as far as tools, a lot of hand power tools, which you don't go through training on, but we do train and focus on training on everything else as far as big pieces of equipment. So miter saw, drill press, sanders, bandsaw, planers. Just got an edge sander over here that we're trying to get up and running. Oscillating edge sander, drum sander, big 12-inch joiner that we are going to be trying to get up and running. That came in around the same time as this belt sander, joiner, smaller joiner, table saw as well as a panel saw, router table, and lathes that are just around the corner over here. And then we're currently standing in the bench room. So where there are tools to make things, there also needs to be benches to have things be made on. So trying to keep those clean as much as possible so that people, as they're coming in and out of the space, will have a space to work. The next problem with that is after you get done working and working on the workbenches, after you've cut stuff and made stuff into workable things, what do I do with it? Where do I store it? So we've got storage racks here to put products on, and those two we're constantly trying to make better and to give folks more places to store things. Always trying to keep this area fairly easy to access, because the bay door is great to load things in and out of. We have really 4 points of entry into the space. We have the steps that we went up to get in. We have this bay door, so people could back trucks or whatever, or even a big truck if they needed, directly in to bring in larger things. We have a not an ADA compliant ramp, but one that was built who knows how many 100 years ago, that's a little too steep, but outside of another door here, and then an ADA compliant ramp with steps out of a back door, so that depending on what you're bringing in, it kind of fits all of those needs as that need shows itself. Studio spaces, we already talked about one. We passed it already, but this area back here is technically a studio space, but it's working with special needs kids that come in Tuesday through Friday in the mornings, and they really work on projects throughout the year to then sell for Christmas, and then you got Valentine's coming up, and that money goes back into the program to help them keep making things. And the whole idea is to help these kids gain a skill set that they wouldn't otherwise be able to create or to have within their school system, especially being special needs, somewhere on the autistic spectrum. So this gives them an outlet, somewhere to go, somewhere to work, and to see a skill set that they would not be able to see if they had when they were in school. Some of them only come here. They need to go to school, but they only come when they're able to come to Maven Makers. So it really shows off what they are doing, and that is one of their spaces, one of our studio spaces. We also have technically 4 spaces here. One in the back is occupied by one person, so he is paying for 2 spaces plus the hallway. We have 2 other spaces here. We can let people be as well kept or messy as they want. It's their space. And then we give them a shell, just OSB walls. If they want to paint them, if they want to put up sheetrock, if they want to completely enclose it, if they want to put up shelves, whatever they want to do, we just give them an 8x8 space, give them power, and say, do what you want. So the cost of that is $200 a month. That includes the membership to the space. So you're paying for space rental and the membership, which is still membership. We don't call it rental. It's just a glorified membership plus membership is what we call it. These are 2 more spaces. Again, some are more welcome than others, but this guy pretty much uses it as storage for his larger wood products that he's working on. And then you see this guy, he does everything by hand, so he made this workbench himself here in the space, and he uses hand tools, hand planes. Using hand tools, hand planes, hand routers, and though he does use the big equipment sometimes, he tries to stay away from it, just to get to the old craft, the old way of doing things. And with that, you can see this chair back here, Campeche chair he's working on. Juggling board is kind of, in my terms, before a seesaw there was a juggling board, and this is essentially a big toy. Looks like a bench. It is a bench, but it bounces, and it's also got rockers on either side, so when you're bouncing it kind of throws you up in the air. So this is something he's trying to figure out where he can sell it. And then this Campeche chair over here will be essentially a leather hammock that sits from the top to the bottom that you would sit in. Think of the days of early colonial Federalist. Thomas Jefferson would have had it, kind of thing. And these are his tools, his bench that he's made with these tools. So it gives you you have a wide variety of the types of people that have studio spaces, what they're doing. So everything from what we saw with the lighting up front to this guy's doing his own, making stuff by hand. Then we also sell lumber. So like we were joking about the vending machine, it would be great if we had a vending machine that could pump these things out. I want to pick a board that is this big and it will spit it out at you. But we're able to get premium lumber. This is stuff that we try to sell at a good market rate that we get from a guy who used to work at Gulfstream, a local aircraft manufacturer here, and is able to, he bought it at surplus for years, has more than he could ever use, and so we're working with him to sell this to our members. So we have walnut, sapele, white oak, bird's eye maple, also have jatoba, macquarie, alformosa, and some heart pine, and some quarter sawn maple flooring as well. And then some random pieces of Duke, Vinge, and others. Here's the other assortment. And then also more storage for plywood, things like that, bigger pieces of equipment, bigger pieces of material that someone might need. And these are more spaces. They've been recently acquired. They're kind of in the middle of actually being used, so people haven't moved in yet, but all of our spaces are filled up currently. And since January, we've started building a working list of more spaces people are wanting to get in, so we have to get deposits from them so we can save their space in line. And a deposit is just simply paying for the first month. So one of our new things, Sandblaster, that's in this space just because I don't have anywhere else to put it at the moment. Trying to figure out a good home for it. And this is another example of just a little bit bigger space over here. But as he needs, he just rolls stuff out of the way and is able to work, has all of his tools. So even though we have everything that you'd probably need here, he wants to be able to trust and know that his tools are his tools, and he doesn't have to worry about anyone messing with his stuff or his stuff not working at any given time. This guy who never done any woodworking in his life, and technically this isn't really doing woodworking, but has a table that was his granddad's dining room table, still in their family, and was in poor condition, and came in and wanted to refinish it. So was able to ask around, how do I do this well? How do I do this without ruining this piece of heirloom antique? So he's come in and put finish on it. You also have someone who's engineered some glue-up clamps for what he needed for making stair treads, and he saw that these things cost $60 or up on like Rockler, and he decided, I'm going to make them myself. So he's made these clamping devices that can clamp in 2 dimensions, I guess technically 3, from the side and from the top. And then these, you got kayak here, where he needed a place to fiberglass and needed to be away from the wood environment. But he has been building this for over a year in our space. It's been great to see how this has slowly moved. And then this is a conference table, I believe, that another member is making and then putting finish on. So that is in our space something that we have a lot of need for, as I've kind of developed those needs as we've gone through, from the need to make things then the need to assemble those things that you're making, then the need to store whatever you assembled, and then the need to be able to put a finish on without ruining the finish. So those are all needs that we're trying to tend to as we try to grow our membership and grow what people have access to within our space. But yeah, it is, I mean, this is what it is. I mean, they gave us a, kind of like what we do with our studio members, like they gave us a blank slate and said, if you need to build things, then make it what you need. This is a project I'm working on that hopefully I can deliver this afternoon. This is the conference table. So live edge conference table. We'll have a glass pane in the middle. So the process for that is starting with a router jig that you use to plane the wood down with steel channel and route pass by pass to plane it up, and then we're able to then really use the hand plane, and then adding in the steel structure to hold it up, and then the legs, and then now trying to finish up the finish to get it to be the best that it can be. Still got some bubble spots, so I got to go in and polish those out, buff those out. But it's just like I said, this is the first thing that's ever been in the finish room, trying to decide what it can hold, what it needs to be. Before it was an open air, just a wall structure that dust can still accumulate in, but now it also affords us more square footage because we can put storage and stuff up above, and even more so once we build this room. So being able to do that, hopefully up there you can see there's storage up above our office, and it's just the ongoing need of as you grow a space, what do you actually need? Do you actually need to store things? Getting rid of, being minimalist of what you do and don't need, and then acquiring the space somehow to store the things you do need to store without getting in the way of what the members need to store and what the members are doing, because that's the main goal, is to offer space for them. But there's still things, I guess you can say administratively, you still need around for events or whatever it may be.
Alrighty.